Because we know him for for all the low lights, especially that horrible time in LA. But it's just his decision making on the court is questionable at times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Once you use the locker room, it's wraps for you as any coach in any league. Once you use the locker room, it's pretty much curtain for you there. So
right.
yeah, after you told me that, yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. And going back to the Memphis, Memphis, they did start off on the season being like the top 5 within the conference and everything. Now, with Taylor Jenkins being fired, they down there put them out to play in tournament. That they literally fell down to the AFC. But playing tournament, the first game they lost to Golden State, but the second game they was able to have another chance and beat Dallas Mavericks. Who were in the 10th seed before the playing started. But how do you feel about their season on Dallas season going the way they have been, looking back at it so far?
Failure. I mean, it don't make it still shocks me. You trade Luka for a 10th seed. That's because what I told you, if it don't work out this year, it's wraps. I don't see an aging Kyrie, an aging AD. Yeah, maybe in 2-3 years, but even now, nobody considers Dallas to be a threat in the West.
No,
especially now that Luka gone.
Right.
It's still a mind-blowing trade. But enough about the trade. Mavericks, should they fire Nico Harris? I mean, I respect the man that stand by his morals and stand by his ideals and stand by his decision.
Right.
So, props to him for that. You feel me? I trade him. Yeah, I did. You feel me? And what you gonna do about it? Nothing. Okay then. But so like I said, I respect for him for that. But
sometimes
I think it's if Mark Cuban was still in charge, he would have been gone probably by the end, right as soon as the end of the season was over.
He better be lucky.
But
he better be fucking lucky.
That's what I said. But
I'm telling you,
it's a 50-50 chance on will he be fired. To be honest, it's a toss-up. If he don't get fired, if it's not by the end of this month, I think he stays. But I mean, the Mavericks, man, like I said, it's just a failure. You traded your one of the literally the top was going to be the
pretty much the best franchise players in dirt.
It is the top 3 players in the league. For a 10th seed.
That part. So after
that's it. I'm done ranting about the Mavs.
No, to put a little extra on detail on with that before we move on to the other teams and stuff. That pretty much we're going soft, and I said that, and I ain't telling what's going to happen by the end like during the off season and everything. But hopefully they make some right choice. They gonna fire Nico Harrison, well, then that's cool. But like I said, just because that you make a lot of money does not mean that you always gonna be right about everything. Business, sometimes businesses ain't gonna be businesses. So I told Nas this here. Did y'all not see what the fuck was y'all at last year? Did y'all not see where y'all at last year? So right now, man, I'm just hoping that they get it together, man, and everything. Hopefully that AD stays healthier in the next season if they don't trade him. That's if they don't trade him.
They'll definitely be a good team. They'll definitely be a good team, but I don't think they're gonna be a championship caliber team.
Right. All right, so move on to pretty much the Sacramento Kings. I feel like with the trade of De'Aaron Fox, I pretty much still had some high hopes in them, for them to still make it, even though that that star player was gone. I feel like that the reason why that he wanted to go because of Mike Brown, was getting fired and everything. And ever since De'Aaron Fox been there, he has been going through too many coaches. Down there, what
Yeah,
10 coaches? If I'm exaggerating.
that's been the king story since Boogie.
And even if they had on star player and Boogie, no, that still wasn't able to surround him with better pieces.
Mm-hmm.
No, if I remember, Isaiah Thomas, no, not the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, but we know that. And Rajon Rondo had that one season with them, it still wasn't enough. And then Mike Malone was a coach around that time with Boogie with them too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If everybody remember, it just wasn't enough. And just like, you know, Mike Brown, I thought Mike Brown was gonna be that top dog that was gonna bring him back to the playoff. He did though. Don't get me wrong. Like it was
Yeah.
like a 17. I believe it was like a 17-year drought. There was the
Yep.
Kings had things going to the playoffs and everything. And Mike Brown was
Yep.
that key piece to help them get there, which led him to winning the coach of the year at that time. I feel like they still should kill. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I agree because I mean, you gotta build from somewhere. You had a foundation. I feel like with Mike Brown, the Kings were heading in the right direction. I feel like they personally need to get best a little bit bigger for even Sabonis. Even though Sabonis grab boards in the playoffs, his size does show in every time. So I feel like they needed to get a little bit bigger, but obviously they felt like they was in that middle of the pack, which is somewhere you don't want to be in no sports league. You don't want to be
Right.
good enough to be good and bad enough to be bad. You don't want to be that.
Mid tier.
Exactly.
Yep. So
I think the Kings was like, we don't want to really be that. Yeah, we went to the playoffs, we ended that, but we want to compete for championships, not compete for the 4th seed in the West.
But right now here they need to compete for a field for 6th seed or well, cause
But
like
I said, a foundation. But I'm just giving you my reason why I think they fired. Because the West is a gauntlet. The West get coaches fired every year. The West, if you don't realize, the West get coaches fired every year because it's so deep and it's such a gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to at least be a top 4 seed. The top 4 seed in the West is so coveted more than this in the East.
Right.
Because of the better competition on that side of the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, coaches have to be on their A game, or you're more liable to fire. He was struggling against good teams this season. That's a known fact.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be struggling against good teams. You want to beat good teams, not beat on bad teams.
Right. It's probably the same with goes with any player that they bring in that is pretty much gonna be franchise player. Like how can you want a player to stay that long if you ain't being the better organization enough to surround that player with better pieces, somebody that really contributes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why their young players be leaving the way that they are. Because of that. Well, as we go back and do a little throwback, Kobe Bryant, they didn't want to get traded for LA because it wasn't enough pieces around. You cannot depend on one person.
Nope. The Cavs and Warriors finals proved that LeBron couldn't do it by himself.
Right. I mean, he did. I mean, he had the right pieces. Well, 2018. But it was
I ain't talking about when he had Kyrie. I'm talking about without Kyrie.
Yeah. 2018 finals. Yeah. He couldn't do it by himself. Like it was like surprising me that he even got that far. Like I wouldn't be mad if they were lost to Boston. It's just that they ain't got nobody besides Kevin Love, and that's the only All-Star besides LeBron who made the All-Star selection from that team.
Mm-hmm.
It just that first game 1. He had 51 points. What happened?
The J.R. Smith.
I was saying what happened, and that's just all right, man. I had enough of this shit.
The emphasis meme happened.
Yep.
Yo.
All
But
right.
yeah.
As we are now going to fast forward to playoffs. So game
Okay.
one with the Clippers and the Nuggets. You know,
Okay.
some reason the Clippers lost by 2 points. You know, even though I thought that they was gonna take it. James Harden was had 32 points, and then but for some reason key players from the Nuggets had had helped them win the game, still the first game at home behind Nikola Jokic's 29 points, and then Aaron Gordon had 25 right behind him. Russell
Mm-hmm.
Westbrook was the key contributor within that fourth quarter, hitting three threes in order to help them, secure the win. Christian Brown,
Mm-hmm.
putting a nail in the coffin around that time. So so far as going back to the Nuggets, how do you feel about them playing against the Clippers? Do you think that they will find some way to get over that hump, or is it going or is some struggles are going to be the with them? Do you think that the Clippers will also get over that hump as well? Because now with Kawhi Leonard, he's not getting back into that form that he was. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that he still stay healthy during the season because James Harden cannot do all by himself. Even though they got no
Exactly.
power and then Vince Zubac and everything. How do you feel? What team out of those teams? Who do you think that will? Who do you think had the most to prove to get over that hump?
Who I think has the most to prove?
Yeah, the most approved so far winning the series. Cause like right now we talking about the West, like the West teams in the West right now.
Well, I mean, the most to prove, I guess the Clippers. The Clippers have the better coach, arguably the better team, and I mean, yeah, the Clippers, and they have some questions like Kawhi, like, are you really just so? I mean, obviously he's two Finals MVPs. I'm not denying his greatness,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about like, was 2018 really the best we seen of Kawhi? Is that really the best we gonna see of Kawhi? Kawhi literally has to ask himself that. I mean, you have been hurt for the past three to four seasons.
Pretty much the whole time
Pretty much.
during his Clippers on team.
Yep.
Like 5 years, be exact with Paul George before Paul George got traded.
Now that junk is crazy to me.
That's terrible.
So yeah, and I think like they can't be healthy in a more perfect time. And like I said, they was on a good run. Post All-Star break, they were one of the better teams. Post All-Star break as well. So yeah, I think the Clippers have the most to prove. The Nuggets don't have a loss. They fired their head coach, so clearly they don't think they really have. Obviously, the players do, but the organization really don't think this team has the stuff to make it to the championship. So to answer your question quickly, the Clippers have the most to prove.
Right. I said the same thing if the Nuggets don't get it together because it's only game one, so we never know what happens on today. I think they played today as well. So
Mm-hmm.
all right. So the next team we're gonna talk about is on the LA the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Lakers will playing the Timberwolves on their home court. Unfortunately, on game one, they had been sat the fuck down. They sat the fuck
Yeah.
down within their first game. So I was like, yep. It's only game one though, but if they keep that bullshit up right there, man, yeah, somebody gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
They gonna die. Timberwolves, man, might not be coming to play. They always sat on double down last season. Going to beating them in 7 games. They sat them down. So, hey.
I mean, yeah. You're right. Them Clippers. Excuse me. Getting to the Lakers. Yeah. I hopefully, like I said, this is JJ Redick first playoff series, so we have to give him that as well.
Right.
And he's not going. He's going against Timberwolves. So he's not going against. I think like Chris Finch is the Minnesota team head coach, right? Am I wrong? I hope it's right, but I think it's Chris Finch.
Yeah.
Is the Minnesota team head coach. But and, obviously last year he proved his mettle last year and being able to make them to the Western, finals
Yeah,
at least. At least.
I still give my respect
But
to him.
yeah, exactly. And so, like I said, Lakers need to be on their game. I think this is going to be more of a coaching matchup than a players matchup. Because I believe that the Lakers do have the better players, and I think they can overcome this series.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about the coaching at the end of the day. What position? How would they play to get each other open? Because this game, the Lakers was trying to play a lot of iso ball, and Minnesota have the defenders to play iso ball. So you're pretty much playing their way. So I'm hoping for a lot of more, open passes. A lot more ball movement to get shooters open, so we can, obviously have more points on offense and hopefully contribute to a win.
Right. No, so far with the coaching thing, like you said, this is JJ Red's first season as a head coach. The other coach, Chris Fitch, I think I'm saying the name right. He has been there. JJ Redd just got here. So you're right. It's like a battle between coaches, like especially when it comes to discipline their players. Knowing when somebody is gassed out, knowing when somebody is fucking up on the court. Sit their ass down and let somebody else play. That's gonna help the team win.
Yeah.
But I hope it's chances that that JJ Redd might be able to pull through, because the more the pressure is on him in LA, because they got Luka Doncic. The pressure's on them now. Minnesota, they're pretty much comfortable at this point. That they weren't able to get over on Dallas last year, but they have the team, the defensive side, and everything. So if Lakers don't get it together, man, within these 4 games, because it's not over until it's 4.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like fingers on last year. Having KD and Bradley Beal and everything. That still don't mean shit if all that iso ball doesn't help win the games. Yeah, offense is cool, but what about defense? Defense is pretty much another thing too. You can't just focus so much on one thing if the other thing isn't being disciplined enough. It doesn't matter if LeBron is 40 years old or whatnot. He still is on that court.
Yep.
So I say that for them too. I say the Lakers got the most pressure on them to overcome and everything.
Okay.
I say it because if Minnesota get over on them, I'm not even gonna be mad, but I'm still gonna be pissed off that the Lakers did all this shit, getting all that, having all that hype around it. That's their problem. That's their problem right now. They be having so much hype behind them, but they been failing so much, especially in 2023 when they got swept by them. 2024 they lost to the same people. Next year, I'm hoping that they do something different, because I remember when Nigel had pointed out that that even though that Luka is good with the scoring and everything, it's just the defensive side that he needs to be worked on. He needs a good defensive coach to help him with that department as well.
Right.
Because sometimes scoring is not gonna always be the only option. You're gonna have to put more effort on the other end too, instead of just worrying about when the ref is gonna call foul and all that. That can't happen all the time, because that shit gonna throw you off. They're gonna throw you off though.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, as far as the Lakers side, they kind of shocked me for them to be the 3rd seed.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I thought it was gonna be the opposite. It was gonna be like 6th, 5th, something like that. To be honest, So it's kind of shocked me that we're in the 3rd seed, and I'm happy we are. But it's like I said, I view that as more of a future trade. Like if the Lakers don't win the chip this year, it's fine. Like I said, I think they view that as more like, okay, when LeBron retires, we already got another superstar lined up and ready to go. Who we can build around to chase championships for at least the next decade.
Right.
So as long as you got Luka, you're gonna be in playoff contention. That's for sure.
Right. But like I said though, the key on other he gotta have better pieces around him, just like with Jokic.
That's
They
that.
got have
Yeah.
the pieces. Yep.
If you have the defenders around him and literally another playmaker, so obviously the ball won't be on him as much. Like I said, that the Lakers just need to view that blueprint the Mavs did to get to the finals,
Uh-huh.
and just copy and paste it on the Lakers. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Yep. All right, so moving on to the Rockets and the Warriors. Who do you think that
Yeah.
is gonna get over that hump? Because I feel like it might be Golden State some way, even though that I don't fuck with them like that. But I still give my respect what wins do. I feel like with the addition of Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler being on the second option, not scoring as much as he was on Miami. I feel like that.
Right.
Despite them being old and everything, it tells they might end up getting up on getting one over on the Houston Rockets. Who are still a
Mm-hmm.
young team, and they have surprised me this season too. Getting to the top of the conference the way they have, even though they fell short. Um, Being eliminated from the playing tournament on last season, but that season right there was showing that there's so much more in store for them the next upcoming season. So if they get over on Golden State, I wouldn't be mad with them. But I won't know from you, your opinion, like who you think is gonna take that.
Well, I think the Warriors is going to take this series because I think Houston is last year Rockets, and I think they're going against the wrong team in the first round. I mean, Houston is last year Thunder. Excuse me, last year OKC.
Uh-huh.
That young team that kind of getting that. We're good. We're good, but the playoff is a whole different version of good. You have to be great.
Right.
You have to be great, and I think this is where Houston is going. And literally in game one, I think Houston literally learned that in game one. I think they're gonna make it a series because they have so many defensive weapons they can throw at Steph Curry.
Uh-huh.
But obviously he gonna get his shots regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is probably the best team defensively, at least especially matchup wise, to go up against Curry.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why they got Jimmy Buckets. When Curry don't have it, why we got Jimmy Buckets gonna give us, you feel me, 38. Curry, okay, why not give us 36 along with Jimmy 38? Whew, okay, Buckies. Yeah. And that's pretty much why they got Jimmy Butler. So yeah, I think the Warriors going to take this series. I think that veteran presence, especially Jimmy in the playoffs, he can turn it on. He can turn it on when he turn it on.
Oh yeah.
And obviously Warriors, Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, like I said, they've been here. They understand. So I think, and Houston's a good team, but like I said, I just think their youthfulness is going to be exploited in the playoffs.
Right.
It's a whole different mindset.
Right.
So to keep it again, to answer your question short,
mm-hmm.
I got the Warriors going past Houston in 7.
Understood. I say, it's going to go on Golden State as well. But if things be different, it's gonna be surprising if Houston even beat them in some way. Hopefully that April and Sengun provide much more on defense. And even though that the offense is there for sure, because like he is drawing comparison to Nikola Jokic. But just like Jokic, the defense on the side is pretty much crushing because like you are a center.
Yeah.
Even though that you can be a great offensive center, but the really mind of the center is about protecting the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But we'll see from there. All right, so we're gonna go to the Eastern Conference.